Do you hate fascism with every fiber of your being? Do you make it a point to punch a Nazi at least once a day? Is your car making a weird noise and you just don't have the money to fix it? I got the soundtrack for you. This is Burn, Berlin, Burn from Atari Teenage Riot. Coming from Germany in the early 90s, Alec Empire started the Atari Teenage Riot as kind of this answer to a rising tide of neo-Nazism that was occurring in Germany in the 90s. And they're a protest band, and they pride themselves on that. And whenever, you know, for a while, whenever there was a protest, like they'd pack up the truck and go there and they'd perform a show at the protest. And that's their deal. They're serious about it. They follow through. They can, I guess you could call them dangerous. I don't know. They show up at riots and play shows. So that's a little bit more authentic than anything Rage Against the Machine ever did. So I'm going to give them their props for that. Even though it's not exactly my type of music. God, I love the yelling and the screaming and the digital hardcore, as Alec Empire likes to call it. It is. It's all electronic. And it's loud and it's abrasive, and there's just all kinds of little happening in it. It's crazy, man. And it's not something I can listen to very often. And I think, unfortunately, kind of going against the intent of the Atari Teenage Riot's self-proclaimed purpose. This has more become a record that I just kind of show people, like, hey, isn't this cool? Check this out. Because it is cool, and it is. But, you know, as far as like, you know, I'm not listening to this going to the gas station in the morning when I get a donut and a cup of coffee, you know. I'm not going to be like blaring this super loud, like, you know, it's not that at all. For me, and I don't want to put the tag of novelty on it, but I mean, I don't riot a lot, and I don't make a point to protest, so I don't think I ever listened to this in its true fashion. The one thing I have used it for is when I have a neighbor that's being irritating. This is great for like 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning, dude. This is amazing. Yeah, there's not a lot I can say about it. It's super loud. It's super loud. It's super abrasive. The guy knows what he's doing. He's putting together some really interesting songs. And if you can just handle the constant assault coming at you for an hour, it's really not that bad. I wish I could have seen him live. Unfortunately, Carl Crack here, he had a episode and he passed away. And apparently he had some issues going on. He would enter a state of psychosis every once in a while. And, you know, they don't know if he committed suicide by taking pills or if it was overdose. They don't know, because he could have been in a state of psychosis. So there's no way of telling how this man passed away. But it's unfortunate that he did. This is a band that I could probably like only handle live, because I certainly can't just sit here and listen to this record straight through. It's just, to me, it's impossible. But there's, you know, there's people who listen to thrash and speed metal and all that kind of stuff. If you can handle that for an hour, you could probably handle, this is probably like child's play to you. It's just electronic beats and, you know, glitchware right on top of it, guitar samples. It's just, you know, it's loud, and if you like that and you can listen to it, sure, put it on. Have a cup of tea, get some biscuits, and you know, start your day off right. But it's just not something that I listen to a lot of. But I can't get rid of this album. It's too cool. This is actually a compilation of their first 2 records. And Burn, Berlin, Burn, the album, was put out by Grand Royal in the late 90s. Because you could go to the CD store before widespread internet, of course. And you could, you know, you could buy a CD. If you could find it, it'd probably run you about $50. And so they over at Grand Royal said, this is too good, and the American kids need to hear this. Because it's the real deal. And it really, there's like something like, I can't, sometimes you listen to, you listen to message music and you just start to question, like, hey, I'm sorry, my bad, Rage Against the Machine. I mean, for all of their pomp and circumstance of what they stand for, they're still kind of a, hard rock band in America, These guys actually kind of believe it, you know what I mean? And I do. I believe in the authenticity, and I believe that they believe in what they're doing. And that definitely comes across. They reformed recently, and they're going to put on some live shows. They had a person to replace Carl Crack, but Anna here, like, they were going to perform, and they got to, about a half hour before the show, and she just realized, like, I can't scream. And my throat is shredded. So they had to, like, they couldn't do a live show. So I think I missed out on these guys, and that's a shame. Some highly great cuts off this album. I love Burn, Berlin, Burn. I love Delete Yourself, Start the Riot's awesome. This is probably the only album I have where every single song would be an amazing opening song. it just jams right from the beginning 20 times over the album. So it really is an assault. It's meant to be an assault. It's meant to wake you up. It's meant to irritate you, and that it succeeds. And, not in a Chuck Mangione way, in a way that's real, you know what I mean? And you can appreciate it. If you like electronics and the possibilities that you could have with electronic music, this is definitely one to check out, It's electronics doesn't have to be all bleep and bloops, you know what I mean? So I think it's interesting, and that kind of curiosity as well. It's not the best thing I've ever heard, by far. Like I said, it has become kind of a novelty in my collection. Hey, check this out. And then you go and put on something else. But I still think it's good. And I think it's good enough. It's crafted well. Alec Empire, he's good. He's a composer. He's a composer of glitch and noise and abrasiveness, and it works. So, I don't know if you're mad about things nowadays, if you want to, go out in the streets and break a window or two. I would highly suggest downloading a few of Atari Teenage Riot's files and, go out and raise a little bit of hell. So there you go. Hopefully I'll talk to you soon.